throughout the galaxy. There are many instances of individuals who become infamous or even legendary upon their worlds of origin. Some of these legendary figures may have been notable preachers of the Imperial cult, or heroic soldiers of the Astra Militarum who accomplished great feats upon the battlefield. However, not all such legends come from the echelons of upstanding Imperial citizens or from the Imperial Guard. Some individuals who gain a more notorious or even infamous reputation may instead come from seedier or otherwise unsavoury backgrounds, such as from the ranks of hive gangers or pit fighters. One world that would see many such examples of these more sordid types of characters is the Imperial Hive world of Necromunda. The violent and crime-ridden environment of Necromunda, and in particular the world's capital hive of Hive Primus, has given rise to many legends throughout its depths. One such example is of the renegade pit slave Bull Gorg, who defied the planet's merchant guilds by taking over a prominent guilder settlement and abolishing slavery throughout its confines. Another particularly notorious individual is Don Ulanti, a psychotic and mentally unstable noblewoman who fled into the depths of the Underhive after mutilating her husband-to-be with a salad fork. Due to her unhinged behaviour, including clawing out one of her own eyes when a bartender told her she was pretty, this would lead to many Underhivers to refer to her by the moniker of Mad Donna. And yet, while such souls once had their names whispered in awe or fear by the other denizens of the Underhive, nowadays it seems like no one has heard of, let alone remembers, the majority of the legendary men and women from the bowels of Necromunda's violent depths. So what could have happened to these myths and legends of the Underhive? One piece of information that is incredibly important to note in regards to the current state of Necromunda, as well as the Imperium as a whole, is the time frame that has passed between the heyday of Necromunda's more legendary individuals and the current present-day setting of the galaxy. Following the advent of the 13th Black Crusade, and the return of the Ultramarines Primarch, Rabute Guilliman, the span of over a century has passed. As such, the current date and year within the Imperium is estimated to be somewhere around 127 M42. Given that approximately 126 years have passed since the onset of the 13th Black Crusade, there appears to be only one probable fate that the legendary men and women of Necromunda have met, in that they had all died, either through old age, disease, or a stub gun round to the head. So, out of all these notorious individuals from the Necromundan Underhives, who amongst them could have survived up until the present day of M42? Now, it is worth noting that while many humans within the Imperium have lived far beyond their natural lifespan, thanks to having their failing organs replaced with augmetics or through undergoing rejuvenative surgical treatment, it seems fairly unlikely that the majority of those within Necromunda could have partaken in such measures to extend their own lifespans. This is because the majority of these more infamous beings were either outlaws or confined to hide within the depths of the Underhive due to their societal status or mutation, where such treatments would either be non-existent or performed by back-alley medics whose surgical qualifications and skills would be questionable at best. One of the few people within the Underhive who could potentially legitimately undergo such surgical treatment, however, would be that of the bounty hunter Cal Jericho. Jericho was born the son of Lord Gerontius Helmore, the planetary governor of Necromunda, and Lady Helena Jericho, a pseudonym used by Inquisitor Jenna Orekiel of the Ordo Xenos. Jericho briefly left the world of Necromunda for a time to serve as a member of his mother's inquisitorial retinue, partaking in a mission to investigate a space hulk designated by the Ordo Xenos as Kronos in search of long-lost archaeotech, technology dating back to the golden age of humanity. After the completion of the mission, Cal Jericho would decline his mother's offer of receiving a permanent place within her retinue, and would return to Necromunda with his new cybermastiff companion to resume his life as a bounty hunter. Cal Jericho would be remembered as somewhat of a legend or even as a celebrity by some Underhivers, for as detailed within the audio drama The Deserter, a bullet that had been pulled or was claimed to have been pulled from the body of Cal Jericho could potentially be worth a few credits should it be pawned off. Despite this, there is admittedly a small chance that Jericho could have been hired for his services by his mother once more at an undetermined point within the future, only this time to never return to the world of his birth. If this were the case, then due to Jenna Orekio's status of being an Inquisitor, Cal Jericho could quite feasibly have received, at his mother's request, various rejuvenative treatments or be subjected to surgical augmentation in order to extend his lifespan. This way, Jericho would be able to live into the early years of M42, though whether or not he would have abandoned the noble woman-turned-ganger, Yolanda Catalyst, who Jericho would eventually take as his wife in order to do so, is another matter entirely. Another individual who could still be alive within the deepest and darkest recesses of the Underhive could be the notorious psyker, Karloff Valois. Karloff Valois was a rather infamous and terrifying man, known throughout the entirety of Hive Primus for not only his ability to control vast hordes of plague zombies, but also due to his vampiric psychic powers. This vampiric ability demonstrated by Valois allows him to psychically drain the life force of other beings in order to sustain his own, an ability that is amplified by an artifact known as the Black Crown, a device similar to a psychic hood that rests upon the Psyker's skull. One of the last documented sightings of Valois was of the Psyker being pursued by the zealots of the Redemptionist Brotherhood, before he cast himself into a great chasm known as the Abyss, losing his ornate headgear in the process. While the Redemptionists conducted a search for many weeks in hopes of finding Karloff's carcass in order to confirm his death, their efforts would prove to be unsuccessful. However, as detailed within the novel Back from the Dead, Karloff Valois would emerge from the depths of the Abyss several years later, his return heralded by a mass outbreak of zombie plague. Karloff led his horde of plague zombies to recover the Black Crown, which had been discovered by a rat-skin scavenger before it was acquired by a captain of the Adeptus Arbites. The Psyker would use his minions to besiege the Arbites precinct fortress, before taking back what was rightfully his and disappearing into the depths of the Underhive once more. Because of Karloff's ability to leech the very life force from other living beings, it's also certainly feasible to assume that the Psyker could make use of such energy in order to extend his own lifespan. As such, the Zombie Master could still be hiding somewhere within the depths of the Abyss, even to this very day. Ultimately, life within the Underhive is short, hard, and incredibly violent. For anyone to have survived as long as they have is little more than miraculous. As such, with the possible exceptions of Cal Jericho and Karloff Valois, it seems highly unlikely for any of Necromunda's more infamous inhabitants to bear witness to the events of the 42nd millennium. What do you think? Leave a comment below, and thanks for watching.